So welcome back to the mock draft, and it got absolutely wild. There was bids flying in from everywhere, academy chaos, first round twists, more twists than a night at Blackpool Beach. So let's have a look at some of the surprise calls that I made as we try to rewrite the next decade using mock fantasy drafts. Let's see how it played out. G'day legends, welcome back to the channel. I am Pommy and Oz and welcome to my draft room. This is the 2025 first instalment of the mock draft and we've mirrored the real AFL system. That means that we have all the bids, we have academy matches, deficits, every single pick linked to your AFL club's list size. So in this scenario, because GWS only have one senior spot, they'll only have one pick. We're diving into picks, the first round effectively. Big names, shocks, reasons behind every move, and later on we'll do a full draft covering the steals, sliders, and the chaos. But before we kick off, do me a solid, smash that like button, drop your club's name in the comments, and tell me who your dream draft pick is this year. That's your challenge. And make sure you subscribe. Thank you again for so much support. We're well over 10k, so turn them notification bells on, because this channel here is every angle of the AFL's off-season, and when we're in the season, we're your one-stop shop for your AFL news and analysis. So that's enough talk, Pom, you fucking idiot. Let's get on with it. The AFL 2025 mock Pom draft starts now. On the clock, we've got West Coast Eagles. Pick one, easy for me, Willem Dersma, Gippsland Power. This guy here is an absolute superstar in every sense of the word. 193 centimetre. He's some cower midfielder. Could be a defender. Can play across high half forward. Elite footy IQ. Genuine speed. Two-way craft. He was a real strong player this year. Vic Country MVP. All Australian. Now he's the centrepiece of West Coast rebuild. Him and Harley Reid. Boy, oh boy. A real strong 2025. 23 plus touches, 6 score involvements a game for Gippsland. Then he has shown that in with some of the later exposure he's had later on in the season. He has been a constant top 3 for most Phantom drafts. He is a really solid player. If you do want to go out there, check the game against Mentro, where he had 27 touches and a goal. He was so strong. Real good time trial as well. Vertical jump as well. This guy is a problem. So why did we choose West Coast? Well, West Coast, for me, need more midfield leaders to combine with Harley. Dersma gives them that two-way drive and a balance to complement them, particularly with the advent of Elijah Hewitt as well. That gives you a metronome who links defence to attack. He reads the play just as good as anyone else in the pool. The fact that he overhead marks as well is so important. Midfielders and marking, so important in transition. In short, this pick sets you up for the next decade. Other options we did consider, obviously Dyson Sharp, my boy, pure explosive mid. Cooper Duff-Tytler, we'll talk about him later, no doubt. It's a tough one though. Pick one, I think, is really easy. You're looking for that upside, and I think the aerial upside just edges it in his favour. Pick two, here we go, West Coast Eagles. And they are going to bid on Zeke Hewland, Gold Coast Academy boy. Who is he? Well, he's a classy player, great left foot, can slice you through with his ability, whether he's playing at halfback or on the wing or in the midfield. He had an injury this year, so that's really struggled, and it's given him limited exposure, but last year was absolutely insane, All-Australian honours. Even though he was limited to 4 games this year, the talent has never really left. And when he has come back, he's shown how clean he is, his smart positioning, and his high IQ. More importantly, he is one of them players that in the AFL just takes to the game like a duck to water. Agile, one of the best readers of the game in this class. And at the Combine, he really showed that. He was top 2 for running vertical leap. Again, vertical leap with midfielders, so important. Really high up in the agility. His lateral movement is insane. If you've seen that footage of him working with Petrarca, absolutely off its head. And he's also had a bit of state league football as well, showing signs of that. So this is a really, really good acquisition. You really want to bid on him in the top 3. So Gold Coast, they match this straight away. They use 15, 18 and 24, getting Zeke Hewland 42 and 83. Why would West Coast do this? You've got to play the points game, and they'll play it like the pros. They've already got the cornerstone mid in Willem Dersma. Now make some of the other clubs play, turn up the pressure on them, and make it happen. I do feel like this will happen in draft night. I think their biggest target at pick 2 will be Zeke Hewland. I think he is so much better than everyone else that is landlocked, and Eagles lose nothing by doing it. They protect their board, and it mirrors what usually happens in the AFL. You usually take a player similar or after a bid. So makes the next sense, and Gold Coast get their player. It's a no-brainer for Gold Coast as well. You match this immediately. You don't let a player of Zeke's class walk away. He stays at Gold Coast. It's their first bid. Somehow they've had a draft window where they've got Petrarca in, players of that ilk, and also sorted out Zeke Hewland. So like we say, they burn picks 15, 18, 24. 42, 83 comes back. Remember that it'll be the last at the end of the draft order, and we've manipulated that. So that is very important. Then pick 3, back on the clock. And West Coast Eagles will look and go Cooper Duff-Tytler. Who is Cooper Duff-Tytler? Well, the Cannons player, ruck forward. We're calling him a forward, though. Freakish mobility, high intense athleticism. His draft combine made him look more like a winger than a tall guy. He covers the ground incredibly well, wins his own ball. He can kick goals. And this is really poignant. When he played in the VFL for Essendon, he played as a pure forward. You saw how he is as a scoreboard threat. In juniors this year, 20 disposals, 17 hitouts. I think people are getting too caught up on the ruck part of him. For me, when you look at when he played in the Essendon game, this was where he was. His ability to kick goals and be a target should be why you buy him. Strong 20-metre sprint was top 10. His 2K time trial was right up there as well. He moves, honestly, like a midfielder. All Australian. He is a rapid rise player last year, and he is an elite prospect. So why did I do this? Get Dersma in. You've got the midfield general to go with Harley Reid and all your other young bucks. They go for a point of difference. People talk about West Coast has got a lot of forwards. I would disagree. They haven't got forwards like this guy. He is a different gravy. He is a lot more smarter than the forwards they've got. I know they've got Job Shanahan. I know people talk about Bailey Williams as the ruck forward. This guy is a different gravy. It gives you a weapon at ground level, a second avenue to goal, a modern, switchable forward line. Genuinely excited about this. Other options I did consider, again, Dyson Sharp. Definitely, if you wanted to double down on midfielders, I've looked at the draft board and think that they've got other options. Sam Cumming is someone that desperately, I feel like, rings off the bell. Kicking 3 goals in the Sandford game against men and having 20 touches, he's ready. Sullivan Roby as well, the late bolter. But 3 picks in, West Coast are building a highlight reel of the draft. They've got Dersma, they've got him in, the savvy bid on Newland, making other teams go and really pay their dollars. And then they've doubled down on the athleticism with a big point of difference in Cooper Duff-Tytler. Guy who moves like a mid, plays like a forward, potentially could be a ruck forward down the track. With the new ruck rules, I think they're really ahead of the queue. And they've got a nice little country Victoria feel about them now as well, which helps them long-term do what they've got to do. On the clock now, Richmond Tigers. And they're going to go straight in with a bid on Mr. Danny Annable. Danny Annable is as clean and consistent as they come. He's a really nice side, mid-180s, can play inside and can play outside. A classic Brisbane Academy player. He was the Brisbane Academy captain, Allies captain, a natural player who thrives on doing the basics incredibly well. He's very good technically around stoppage and clearance. He uses his hands very well, incredibly balanced throughout, and he comes from an academy, so you know that the standards there are incredibly strong. He dominated in the Coates League. He played very amiably in the VFL as well. All Australian honours. He's a very accomplished player. He showed in the draft as well. His endurance is strong. That is a prerequisite of Fagan's game. He is really the prototype of the engine room midfielder that we see all the time. It is annoying that Brisbane get better, but fair play to them. You've got to take it as it is. Why did they make this bid? Richmond, they're playing the game. You've got to play chess and checkers in this game. They know that they want to make other sides accountable. And I do think that Richmond are definitely going to be Mr. Accountable in this. It's a statement of intent. They want to really respect the competition and stress to the opposition that they want to come and take everything. It does mean that obviously Brisbane do this straight away. Straight away match. 17-22-41 becomes Danny Annabelle pick 54 and a pick at the end of the draft. So locked away, pick 4, Brisbane do it. No questions asked. You don't mess around with a player of Danny Annabelle's standard, regardless of where he is. So get him in. So Richmond go again, and this time they bid on Dylan Patterson, the halfback who can play up the ground of the midfielder, former rugby league convert. Explosive is a word that's probably undermines what he is. He's a very, very quick player. And when you've played rugby league, and if you ever come from a rugby background, you know your ability to burst through small gaps is incredibly important, but also your ability not to fear contact. And this guy has a core strength that makes Hercules jealous. He was a really, really good user in Allies as well. Really showed his good ball use, going at the high 80%, line-breaking type player. He is a pure meters gained transitional specialist. It's really important in today's game. And obviously, this would be a perfect acquisition for Richmond. They'll look at who's on the board right now and they'll go, okay, let's get him in. The big thing about Dylan is he did this against men in the VFL. He's a guy that can change tempo. He can literally, in a blink of an eye, go from deep inside D50 to suddenly you're about to penetrate inside 50. He is a really, really strong game. A great game to watch is his game for the Allies versus WA, where he was really dominant and showcased that transitional football. Richmond go back-to-back academy bids. Why? It's not just aggressive, it's strategic. They're forcing Brisbane and Gold Coast to pay, spend big. Obviously, we know that these rules are going to change next year. They're going to start setting the example. I do expect the top 10 picks to really have quite a lot of bid matches. The bid effectively locks it in. Gold Coast, obviously, they match it straight away. They will burn 25, 26, 32 and 40. They'll get Dylan Patterson, pick 43 back as change, and then 2 late selections at the end of the draft. Why? Because they use 4 picks. You need to get 4 things in return. Remember, it stays the same. It's an instant match, no hesitation. And obviously, Dylan Patterson working with Johnny Noble, Danny Rioli, that's only going to help further progress his ability as he goes later. Richmond now have done some damage. They've shot a few people. Everyone's panicked. Now they're back on the clock. And with pick 6, they take. So with pick 6, Richmond Tigers back on the clock. They've done their damage. And what have they targeted so far? Speed, ball use. They've got the core. And they will select Sullivan Roby, the bolter from Eastern Ranges. And he has gone from growth spurt to obscurity to when you suddenly hit that 190 mark, when you were a very classy, skillful midfielder that was too small for it, game over. Marks like a key forward, hits the scoreboard like a small forward, finds the ball like a midfielder. After being cut a few years ago, he grew nearly 20 centimetres and has exploded into the scene in the last 8 weeks. His 40-touch goal, 3-goal game in the wildcard game, 4 goals in the grand final, nursing a cracked collarbone. This guy is harder than a coffin nail. He has been so strong in just the under 10 games he's played, and Richmond have done the hard work last year. Richmond have bought and got drafted a good, solid core. Now they can take a little bit of flirtation with it. They want game changers. Roby's brand of power, clean hands, endurance gives you that dangerous hybrid player who can pinch it in the middle. When you add him to players like Sam Layla, oh my God, you have got an explosive, multi-dimensional, born for big moments mid-forward line. Other options we consider here, Dyson Sharp, captain, leader. He's basically Tim Taranto crossed with Jacob Hopper with a bit more flair that can go forward and kick goals. But Roby's rise, for me, is where got the sweet spot here for Richmond. They're in a great position now that they draft what they want, not what they need. Richmond pick 7, and they're going to go... Look, a lot's talked about this. Jagger Smith was linked to them last year because he played in their VFL. But I can't look past Sam Grill. And it makes sense because they bid on Dylan Patterson. Elite runner, great pace, can play halfback, break lines on the wing. This guy is built for speed and endurance. Looking at Richmond's makeup, he simply doesn't stop, and he complements what they've worked so hard for. He's been really strong in junior games this year, and even for Oakley, you saw that he managed to play on the ball and generate some clearance and some zip out of there, and that is so important. If you watch him in the VFL games this year as well, he hits targets at speed, loves to rebound. There's a little bit of modern day football about this. There's so many players like this in the league. Max Holmes, Chad Warner, things like that. An aggressive bid from Richmond, and then they bring in Sullivan Roby and a speedster like Sam Grill. They have gone transition philosophy, and transitional philosophy wins your flags. Break hard, break lines, defend hard, go fast the other way. It's AFL's 101 on how you do it, and I think that they've gone with the bolter and then the safe thing. Essendon on the clock now, and they're going to play dirty buggers. Matt Rosa is back, and they are going to bid on Carlton's own key defender, Murray Bushrangers' father son, Harry Dean. The son of a Premiership hero, Peter Dean, Harry Dean has been standout as the key defender, the most complete key defender in this pool. Incredibly calm under pressure, really good ball use, and his defensive work one-on-one is really important. He's that modern intercept defender who can play like a third tall, but also play lockdown if he needs to. He's a must for Carlton. After years of Carlton's list being kind of in purgatory, he has been strong, named in the All-Australian. He's been a real strong player. He's had some really good performances as well against Erden Sherbert, Max King, Duff-Tytler, the players that are so important, averaging nearly 7 marks a game, over 8 intercepts. His Vic Country game has been really good. Go back and watch the final Vic Country game as well. He was absolutely dominant in this game, really showcasing why he's so highly touted. Why the bid makes sense. Essendon and Carlton are rivals. Make it happen. Force the hand of these teams. Carlton, without a shadow of a doubt, will match this. Pick 12, pick 14, straight away, burn in there. Harry Dean comes into the Blues. 14 now will slide to pick 17. It affects Carlton's draft points to an extent, but you've got to respect these players, and this is about the range that Harry Dean is, and it's a reminder of the old rivalry. Carlton would be very amiss to not match this. I think they may have questions if it is in the top 3, but at this point, you can't have him wearing anything else other than navy blue. They use them picks, they get him back, happy days, everyone moves on with their lives. No shock here for me. Sam Cumming. North Adelaide. Any man that can kick goals against full-grown adults as a child, 3 goals and have 20-odd touches in a game of Sandful, tough, powerful mid-forward, Sam Cumming is your man. Wins his own ball, explodes from stoppage, scoreboard from stoppages is insane. 2-way runner as well. It's something that Essendon really do crave in that midfield. His leadership as well. He's in the leadership group at South Australia. An All-Australian half-forward. His Sandful senior exposure has been really delightful. Go check out the highlights of that game and the full game if you can against South Adelaide. 21 touches, 3 goals. And he did it in the juniors as well, showcasing hard edge, but also incredible class. It's very hard to be hard and tough. So what did they do here? They've bolstered the defence with The Bombers go for a heart and soul player. Inside mid-energy, Cummings' contested style perfectly fits what they're looking for. Imagine Caldwell feeding this guy. His goal sense adds another dynamic layer to what Essendon are billing. He's the kind of player that becomes a fan's favourite, an absolute competitor and a game-changing type player. The Essendon Bombers will call out Xavier Taylor. A 192 interceptor who wins his own ball. His coverage and his positioning is amazing. He's task-orientated. He hardly gets beaten. His improvement on run and carry is insane. His interceptability is so strong. He averaged just under 20 touches. 6 marks from these games at Eastern Ranges was a huge part of why they went on to win the championship. He also, his grand final was absolutely sensational. Absolutely bossed them. When they were under the cosh against Sandringham, he went another level. His 15 marks were an absolute insanity. His agility, his mobility, are all beautiful things for the modern day game. Why does he fit there? I think Essendon really look at their defence and want these extra type players. They want someone to complement the hard work that their backline does. Him and Roberts playing together off the half-back line, game over. They are the modern day slingshot attack, and two players that really do fit the new age backline mould. Disciplined in defence, aggressive with the ball in hand. So Essendon there with them picks, they really covered it well. They got the dynamic forward midfielder that they want. They got Xavier Taylor, the best interceptor in the comp. They've really built their future and they've done some damage to other people. Pick 11, Dyson Sharp, Melbourne Football Club. Melbourne have lost Oliver and Petrarca. They're going a new way with King and they're going to bring in the Lark medalist, All-Australian captain, Mr. Decoration himself, Dyson Sharp, ready-made leader, thrives under the pressure, wins his own ball, but also can kick goals. It makes sense for me, and I think they'll be stoked that people evidently don't love consistency anymore. Been really strong in his juniors and at national champs, adding another layer from his Donovan under-16 year, where now he kicks goals. Also looked very comfortable playing in Sandful. His clean hands, his leadership, his drive, his ability to win ball, but more importantly, control the intensity of the midfield is why South Australia won the national champs. His ability to know when to attack, when to make it go faster, when to slow down is integral. With Oliver and Petrarca gone, they need some CBI identity moving forward, and he is the number one pick in this draft for that. An on-field general who leads through his own action and can deliver it with composure. This is the new method of Melbourne, and this guy is heralding the new era. Melbourne won't waste time, I don't think. I think Dyson Sharp is the simple, most logical selection for them at pick 11. Pick 12, and this is going to come as a surprise to you. Melbourne rebuilding from the ground up. They're going to look at the draft board, and they are going to go Josh Lindsay. Why, you ask? The best kick in the draft. They have for years been a contested side. There's been a lot talked about Goodwin had to change it. He's mentioned it in press conferences that it's hard to change it and hard to stray. I think King's going to come here and go, I want to launch off half-back, go through traffic, turn defence into attack straight away. All-Australian Vic Country captain. They've doubled down on leadership. They're trying to change the culture. This guy going at 80% efficiency by foot gets you going. Suddenly, they are building a new Melbourne, and already they have a different identity with these picks. He's a perfectly weighted, calm and precise player. After adding Dyson Sharp's grunt and leadership, Melbourne doubled down with polish, panache and leadership. Lindsay coming in gives their back half a lot more of a different dynamic. He is a massive upgrade on the players they've got. They've got some really exciting young talent there as well. But Sharp and Lindsay coming in, suddenly the Demons are going from that blue-collar, hard edge to a more modern-day ball movement in just one round of picks. Dyson Sharp reaches his ceiling. Josh Lindsay showcases his class. We might look back at this draft as the turning point from Melbourne being more the poster boys of modern-day football as opposed to the archaic dinosaurs we often talk about. Hawthorn up next now, pick 13, and here's a bit of conspiracy pom time. They are going Ollie Greaves, Eastern Ranges, midfielder. Unlucky not to be an NGA for them, it has to be said. Unlucky. But this guy here has got that hard edge and that modern day inside ball that has some class. His ability around the stoppages is insane, but his ability forward of the ball has really shown it. I think Metro's MVP, a pure modern day on-baller. Hawthorn missed out on Zach Merritt and need that midfield point of difference. They've got rid of James Warple. They've just brought in the modern day equivalent of these types of players. Really strong. He averaged a goal across the year, goal a game across the year. Captained the Eastern Rangers to a flag. Was second in the Lark voting. He is a monster performer. His ability to step up when it counts is really exciting. Him learning off Newcombe really fascinates me and really gets me going. The Hawks have got such a good, unique blend of midfielders. I think you add Ollie Greaves in, he's going to really learn and thrive under Sam Mitchell. Interesting, the POM conspiracy here is his back end of the year was weird, but I think when you add Will Day, and him feeding them, game over. This guy gives you powerful contest and the ability to extract the pill, but also rest forward. Every sense of the modern day footballer, and Hawthorn have got their midfielder they want. Very interesting how this looks. They go for leadership and they go for presence, and they've already got a very dynamic midfield. Now they've got the grunt to help these types of players. The brown and gold suddenly has tough, skillful, and clutch in abundance. Pick 14, GWS are one of the hardest teams to pick for because they only will have one pick at this moment unless they do something dramatic with their draft hand. But Jacob Farrow is who I'm going. And why is that? GWS Caruso targets certain types of players. And I think that a smooth, composed, technically gifted, left-footed halfback that looks like it'll go into the midfield later on is all over it. He reminds me very much of like Timu Jordan Dawson. He went at nearly 90% kicking efficiency in the national champs. Exactly the type of player that GWS acquire. They don't care about anything else other than skill acquisition. And this guy is a meters gained, slingshot threat. Even at waffle level, he showed that against men. His ability to control and dictate the tempo is everything. And when you look at how the GWS Giants play, they value this ability. When they have a ball user like this, game over. A lot of people could talk about key forwards and stuff like that. I don't think that is a big need for them. I think they're looking at what they can generate, and someone that is composed of halfback who will become a kick-first distributor, setting up attack from deep in D50, who will then move forward ahead of the ball. He's the perfect fit for the Giants. Their ability to mould players and take people where they want is world famous, and I think this makes sense for me that GWS take Jacob Farrow. Eagles, so they've had a quite good draft at the minute. Dersma, CDT, they're going to stick with the country feel here, and I'm going to select for them Noah Hibbins Hargraves. Very important here. I think that they want some panache now, some attacking half forward, attacking wing work who can win a game off their own boot and really go into this modern day area of flair, finishing and pace. And this guy here is X Factor. He really gives that rebuild a spark. And I think this is the method for Eagles. This draft is quite littered with country talent. They've got Harley Reid. Try and build a home from home. He was in the team of the year on the wing, and you can see why. His ability to play wing, high half forward, to be that conduit, to be that link, averaging just under 2 goals a game, will really showcase it. If you do get a chance, use the AFL app. Go and watch Hibbins Hargraves against GMV Rebels. Absolutely mental. And also look at his first country game. We were live for this one. He was absolutely insane against the WA. He is really, really strong. After taking Dersma and CDT, West Coast now adds some skill and some excitement to this board, and they'll be really stoked with this pick, I would feel. It fits McQualter's idea here. Next-gen vision, high-skilled players who make good decisions and turning the Eagles into a speedy team who are exciting to watch. On the clock now, Western Bulldogs, and they're going to select Eastern Ranges Oscar Taylor. A nice mid-180s rebounder with elite speed and an absolute dart of a left foot. And I can see why this guy, again, is another Eastern Ranges guy that's really showcased in their title-winning thing, that he can turn himself into a role player, but more into a key cornerstone of your halfback flank. When I look at the Doggies, I think their list is in a great position. I think that they would like some users and some kind of pace merchants, and he's a really strong player to come in here. He was the fastest player across 20 metres in the combine. It really suits their slingshot hard edge mentality. Incredibly agile as well, was top 3 for that. And we know that they're the kind of measurements that really translate into AFL transition football from day on. The Doggies love a type of rebounder, with Dale going more ahead of the ball, Richards going more ahead of the ball, and even Bailey Williams at times going there. I think Oscar Taylor just really helps them shore up that backline and really turn it. The ball movement of this side, potentially on paper now, could be the best in the league. The Bulldogs now have some drive off halfback. They've added a pure speedster here. This is the kind of player that really defines what they're trying to build, and I'm really excited about this pick. Carlton up next, and Carlton, obviously, they've locked away Harry Dean. Their pick's been knocked back a little bit. They'll look at the draft board here, and there's some really intriguing names I think that Carlton could go to, but I'm going to select the guy that I've been talking about most of the year, Lockie Doverston, an electric small forward who prioritises goal sense versus anything else. And this is something that Carlton haven't had for a long time. Elite agility, X factor, brings chaos. He is Nick Watson light for the point of the conversation. Every forward line craves it, and Carlton's desperately craves it. They've now got Haywood and Ainsworth for someone to learn off. He was an All-Australian, the leading Metro goal kicker. He is an absolute shoo-in, booting nearly 2 goals a game. This is something that Carlton have avoided drafting for a long time. A guy that can change the game. His agility was really strong in the combine, and he's really shown his ability to vertical leap as well. He was top 5 in that. That is so important. Suddenly, after locking Harry Dean, Carlton have gone to the forward half of the ground and said, right, we have got to play a new way. No Charlie Kerner. Doverston adds the flair, pace, and can also pressure when he needs to. He is a complement there for Harry Mackay. A massive pressure valve for Motlop. He's going to keep opposition defenders honest, and I think he brings the magic straight away. We haven't had a player like this since Eddie Betts. Has that energy, has the mullet, wins his own ball, and I could see him spurting through the midfielder. Alec Pickett, Isaac Rankine, all the modern day. He fits the modern day DNA perfectly, and he's something Carlton have craved for a long time. Adelaide Crows pick 18, and they're going to stay close to home. Bring Mateus home. They're going to bring Jevan Philippou from Woodwell West Torrens in here, the younger brother of Mateus, and this guy comes from the same cloth. You can see explosive through the core, very dynamic the way he plays. He's got that really good turn of pace. He can turn on a sixpence, but he's also powerful, but he's also classy. He is a very strong runner as well. His ability to run all day, but also pressure and turn the game is really important. Very good around the ground as well. Really good link-up play. He's not scared to get into the defensive half, take the ball out of there. Had an injury, broke his arm early doors, which kept him out of the national championships. But since his return and pre that, he's definitely a top 20 player. His Sanford as well has really showcased that. He is a really strong player. If you get a chance, go and watch the Norwood under-18s game. 31 touches, 2 goals. He was an absolute dynamo. And when he has played in senior Sanford, he's really showcased his ability to slot at half forward. Adelaide love these type of homegrown versatile players, and I think Philippou gives them a chance to really keep tinkering with that forward line. They like midfielders and forwards. It really gives them that athletic type player who can push through the midfield and really give them another shot at goal. They're already a free scoring side. This makes them a little bit more dangerous. Geelong on the board now, and they're going to do what Geelong do best. They do love a cheeky little bid, and I think they're going to bid on Sydney's own Max King, the midfielder forward who can also play down the back. This guy plays just about everywhere. Bit of Willem Dersma in this guy that he plays everywhere. Has done his best work probably at the forward. Incredibly athletic. And Max King is really intriguing because I feel like everyone has just slept on him. But he's quick, he's powerful, he's very good in the air. And he's about to go to a club that's got a player that's hard to pick in Charlie Kerner, who's going to teach him the dark arts. He's been very strong. His vertical leap is absolutely ginormous, but his pace is genuinely scary. Sydney love these types of players, these bits and pieces players that when you look at them, they deceive you in their ability to do what they do. His season was, inconsistent at times, but you can see when he produces it, he is going to be a slow burn that's going to have an incredibly high ceiling. He did it against WA, obviously that smashing pack mark and the game-kicking goal. In the VFL as well, he's shown it against men that he can be industrious with limited touches. Sydney, without a shadow of a doubt, match this bid. 27 and 28, they'll get 36 and Max King back. Geelong, obviously, they've always used their bid strategically. They do like to drain rivals' academies, and I think they'll test Sydney's resolve here, and they'll have a little cheeky little punt, but Sydney will match it without a shadow of a doubt. That puts Geelong back on the board now at pick 20, and they're going to look at this board, and they're going to see a little bit of a slider here. They had a sniff at Rowan Marshall, and it didn't work. They're going to call the name of Aidan Schobert, the ruck forward. Just under 200 centimetres. This guy is incredibly versatile and mobile for someone his size. His ability in the air is really strong. His ability to kick goals is really strong. And he's only a baby. He's very, 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 very young. And he's one of the underage type players. He's at that very point there. He was an MVP at under 18 level, known for like a Jim Furyk style kicking action. It's very bizarre. Looks like an octopus falling out of a tree. A team that backs themselves to teach you the basics and look at core facets. Geelong will look at this and go, right, okay, he does everything that we want. And he's shown that. His time trial was insane. His agility is really strong. His ruckcraft, although raw, is more than serviceable, but his second and third efforts are really strong. And that is what you look for at Geelong. Geelong's forward line is really strong. Jeremy Cameron is leading that. Then outside of that, they've got the smalls in there. They're looking for that next target. They've done it with Rhys Stanley for so long. They targeted Rowan Marshall for a reason. Conway is still a while away learning his craft. Hawkins, he's retired a couple of years ago. They don't quite have it, right? They haven't had that natural successor, and Henry hasn't quite shocked there. Shannon Neal development's been brilliant. It's crying out for that third who could do it. So I think they'll go tall. They'll go smart. Aidan Sherbert has all the tools that they really thrive on, and the deficiencies is things that Geelong just teach with their eyes closed. With an MVP being at the bottom age, this is almost like a show of taking a pick next year early. He has so much upside over him. I think they'll do it. Pick 21, Fremantle Dockers. And Fremantle, they pick what they want. They don't pick what your order says. I think they're going to surprise everyone and go Latrell Sumner Pickett. An electric overage small forward who's got a famous surname, but his ability to kick snags is insane. And I'm going to predict they've been linked with Keziah Pickett for so long. Suddenly, getting his cousin makes sense. This guy is chaos inside 50, fast. He's an entertainment package. He has really jumped onto the scene. Returning into the Sandford this year, he was so eye-catching, an absolute goal magnet. And when you look at what Fremantle have built, they've really got the midfield sorted, the backline sorted. Feel like there is a market here for another small forward that Mickey Walters retiring has lost. His acceleration and his agility, his smarts, he's a side set merchant. He is lethal in tight spaces. He is more lethal than Monkey Flu in tight spaces. So this is going to be really... He is more lethal than COVID in tight spaces. Fremantle's forward line definitely gets a spark. He injects that energy, and this will get the crowd going. He's a crowd pleaser. The Optus will be rocking with this selection. I think this is a good one for the Longmuir. 22, and Essendon will be stoked that no one's gone for Adam Swede, which I don't think they will. I think I can't see that need. They're going to take a punt here on Harley Barker. Easily what they've tried to manufacture for so many years. Just under 190, they were one of the first teams to really buy into this tall wingman type rubbish. He got the unfortunate ACL injury, but Barker is what that whole testing became. Elite endurance, an absolute goal assist machine, the modern day transition player. When I look at Essendon's spread, it's definitely an area, and I feel like that they will be happy with Farini coming in, that they can hold this pick and get a guy that was literally a top 10 pick before injury curtailed him. He was all Australian. Go and watch any South Australian game in the National Championships. Just under 6 score involvements a game and a goal a game. This guy was an overlap score involvement machine. He is the modern day type player that changes the game. We've seen the success of players like Ollie Dempsey and players like that, always attacking from the wide spots. I think with their first few picks, Essendon have done really well. They've got Cumming and Zaid Vitalia. They've going to get Sweden, Hussein El Akbar. They're locked in. Go best available. Harley Barker coming in. It's a slow burn, but this guy here is that missing jigsaw piece. When I look at their midfield, a great acquisition for Essendon. I think Essendon will be stoked with this pickup. Pick 23, Hawthorn on the clock, and they'll look at this, and because of the way that the board has fallen, with limited amount of picks that we're expecting, Hawthorn are going to look at this and go, get him. They're going to get Mitchell Marsh, not the cricketer, the footballer. My boy, 191 marking forward, and he is a Sam Mitchell player. His work rate up the ground, his defensive application is really strong, but his goal kicking, his IIQ, and his ability to bring players in around them, combine that with an engine that never stops, this guy is a Sam Mitchell player. He is Jack Gunston 2.0. And I think when Gunston leaves that forward line, there's a big hole. He's about to learn off the master of his craft. He was super strong in national championships. Watch any national championships game. We were one of the first channels to talk about him before he even played national championships. He is an animal. And I think Hawthorn will be stoked that the way the draft board's gone, he is there at their second pick. He is a great marker of the football, a great kick shot as well. It just is a repeatable action. Real good running jump, great hands as well. They'll be stoked with this selection, and Hawthorn have managed to get a midfielder in and then a long-term contingency plan from Gunston, which really helps them with the injuries that they have to Mitch Lewis and stuff. It fits really well. They've added the inside power of Greaves, the insurance policy, and a high scope ceiling in Marsh. 24 now, and North Melbourne see where Essendon's next bid is, and they do it. They bid on Calder Cannons. Essendon locked NGA Adam Swede, midfield who can play forward, an absolute dynamic player that is a ball of energy. And North Melbourne, who are a team that always buy midfielders, they're going to be a pain in the arse here and start taking out teams in and around them. But he plays with speed, pressure, and more important, a little bit of class. He returned after his ACL and was really, really strong. He really showcased his burst, his genuine scoreboard threat, and his genuine hunger for the game. Someone that is very exciting to watch. Essendon, without a shadow of a doubt, will match this. They'll lose pick 26 in the process, but gain Adam Swede. That won't bother them so much because they still have another pick straight after that later on, but they will match this bid. But he is an all-Australian player that was an absolute highlight reel. His game against the Allies, if you get a chance to watch it, please check it out. Also did a bit of VFL with Essendon as well. Showcased his ability to kick a goal out of nothing. But it makes sense for North Melbourne just to look at where their opposition are and test it. Because if you do get him to slide through, he's definitely someone that really complements what they've got. But Essendon will match it. That puts North Melbourne back on the clock. And North Melbourne take another riser in this one. And for the first time in a long time, look at their list needs. And they'll go Blake Threadgold from Sturt Football Club, an intercept defender who has that ability to be dominant in the air and really strong one-on-one. His attack is a nightmare for opposition forwards and was a big part of why SA dominated in junior football. He's also an incredible kick and something that when you look at Alistair Clarkson's teams historically, they really, really value. He's done it just about everywhere. Did it in the Premiership for Sturt, did it for the National Championship for South Australia. This guy is a serial winner, and he's going to bring that mentality into North. He was really strong in the air, but his spoil game is really strong. He's incredibly, incredibly quick. So he's one of them players that can play on the back shoulder, and with his natural pace, get in front of you with a real strong vertical leap and his pace and take the game out. I think this is something that North will look at. Their backline, for me, is still an issue. It needs size, it needs agility, and they've got such a good mid-forward rotation. I think Threadgold is that composed, athletic defender they have been really desperate for. And then to wrap it up, pick 27, North Melbourne. They're going to double down on tall stocks. Archie Ludowick, the Sandry Dragons boy, he comes in. 197 key forward. This is the chance to get him working with Larkey and also complementing Whitlock they've got. This guy had a PCL mid-year. It halted him, but his ability in the air and his leadership is so strong, and the way he works high up the ground. Before his injury, he was averaging nearly 3 goals a game. This guy could have been a top 5, top 10. We were so hot on him before the injury, but his contested marking, his ability as well to bring it down onto ground level really helps players like Paul Curtis and the young guys they've got. I think that North Melbourne here will look at it and go, right, okay, suddenly that trade for a future doesn't look so bad. You've got Fred Gold, you've got him. We've built a deadly twin tower now. He's athletic, he's intelligent, and I think he suits the ethos of the Rubes. It's a literal reward pickup here for a side that has got a real strong midfield core and got strong everywhere else. It's the tall stocks they definitely need to focus on. I think they've finished their picks by taking a swing at the high ceiling of Archie Ludowick, who, like I say, was a top 5 lock, but now is a slider. So that is the first batch of AFL mock drafts from me, done and dusted. From West Coast power plays to Gold Coast having to count their peanuts and juggle their academy picks. This draft, it had a little bit of everything, didn't it? Chaos, a bit of strategy, some future All-Australians, though, in the mix, I've got to say. But this is where it is. They're the first 27 picks. We will do a part 2 of this a bit later on in the week, probably, maybe starting next week, where we'll get the bargains and the rest of this draft, the tough list management calls coming from the later picks. Make sure you are subscribed. Hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Join the Pommy and Oz army. Let me know in the comments, who do you think won the draft? Who's your favourite pick? And if there's something you don't agree with, let me just have a conversation. I'm Pom. This is Pommy and Oz. You're amazing. And I'll catch you legends in the next video. See you soon. Stay safe. Stay passionate. Go Footy.